The Bench by The Bakery by AI with Heart. In a quiet town where life moved slowly and smiles still mattered, there was a small wooden bench. It sat under the soft shade of an old maple tree, just outside a modest little bakery called Elliot's Crumbs and Company. The bakery smelled of vanilla and warm cinnamon all year round, and the bench had been there long enough to earn its own stories. But this story doesn't begin with the bench. It begins with Leo, a retired bus driver, and Maya, a little girl with mismatched socks and a laugh that made birds pause in midair. Leo came to the bench every morning at 8 a.m., sharp. Dressed in a neatly ironed shirt, a pocket watch always in hand, he sipped coffee from the bakery and read the local paper, even though he'd read the same edition 3 times already. Since losing his wife 2 years earlier, the bench became his quiet place, and the bakery staff became his unofficial family. Maya showed up one cloudy Tuesday in early spring. She had a pink backpack shaped like a fox, a crumpled note from her teacher in one hand, and tears in her eyes. Her mother had just lost her job. The school didn't have money for another lunch voucher, and Maya, only 7, had decided to fix it herself by walking to town and asking for a job. She sat down next to Leo, looking exhausted. "Are you waiting for someone?" he asked gently. She wiped her eyes. "I'm waiting for someone to help." Leo blinked, surprised by the weight of her words. They talked. She explained everything. Her mom's job loss, the empty fridge, the teacher's sad eyes. She didn't want charity, she wanted to earn. Leo, moved but practical, walked her into the bakery. He introduced her to Elliot, the bakery owner, who was wiping flour off his hands. After hearing the story, Elliot nodded. "I'll tell you what," he said. "You can help me name new pastries. Every week we make up something new. You give it a name, and in return, you and your mom get dinner rolls and muffins for the week. Deal?" Maya's eyes lit up. "Deal!" And so began an unlikely partnership. Every Tuesday, Maya sat on the bench with Leo and brainstormed names like Snuggle Buns, Cloudy Crust, and Cinnamon Hugs. Elliot printed the names on chalkboard signs. Customers loved them, people smiled more. Sales even went up. But the bench, the bench, became something more. It wasn't long before others started joining. An elderly woman named Ruth, who had just moved into assisted living, sat down one afternoon, drawn by Maya's giggles. A teenager named Jordan, who struggled with anxiety and used headphones like armor, quietly joined the circle after school one day and surprised everyone with an artistic flair for sketching pastry ideas. Every person who sat on that bench gave something, and everyone who sat there received something too. Leo started bringing his harmonica again, something he hadn't touched since his wife passed. Ruth brought her knitting and started teaching others how to crochet. Jordan drew chalk murals on the sidewalk in front of the bakery every Friday morning. Colorful scenes of giant muffins smiling at people, cupcakes on clouds, and once, even a baguette riding a bicycle. One day, a newspaper reporter walked by, paused at the laughter spilling from the bench, and asked what was going on. Maya proudly announced it was the kindness bench, and Leo added, "We're just saving the world, one smile at a time." The article went viral. Soon, strangers sent letters to the bakery, thanking them for reminding the world that simple joy still existed. A school in a different state painted a bench and called it their Maya spot. A bakery in Canada renamed one of their cinnamon rolls Cinnamon Hugs. The internet buzzed with positivity, rare and radiant. But one morning, something happened. Leo didn't show up at 8 o'clock, then 8:30, then 9 o'clock. The bench felt empty. Worried, Elliot called Leo's neighbor. Maya clutched her fox backpack tight. Leo had suffered a mild stroke during the night. He was in the hospital, recovering but weak. The bench was quiet for the rest of the week, but on Sunday, just before closing, Elliot found a note under the bench. It was written in crooked, childish handwriting. "Leo made my sad go away. I want to make his sad go away too." The next morning, Maya arrived with Jordan and Ruth. They had signs, balloons, and muffins wrapped in colorful napkins. People from town joined, filling the space around the bench. They FaceTimed Leo from the hospital. He smiled through tears as Maya held up a new sign she made. "The bench belongs to everyone, but it started with you." Leo returned 2 weeks later, walking slowly but upright, with a cane that Jordan had painted with bright colored pastries. The town gave him a standing ovation as he sat down on the bench again. That summer, Elliot renamed the bakery. Now the sign reads, "Crumbs and Kindness, home of the bench by the bakery." Every Tuesday, the tradition continues. People of all ages come to name pastries, share stories, play music, and pass kindness forward. A girl from another town started her own bench movement at her father's pizza place. A retired teacher painted story benches for local parks. And Maya? She's still naming pastries, still wearing mismatched socks, still changing lives without even knowing it. The world doesn't always need grand gestures to heal. Sometimes all it takes is a bench, a muffin, and a little girl who believes helping is what people are supposed to do.